All right, let's play a little Carolina Panthers trivia. Tell me what person has interviewed the most Carolina Panther players one-on-one that doesn't work for the organization. Yeah, it's me. I'm Chris Jenkins. I'm with Charlotte Vibe, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel where each and every week I interview players one-on-one. And the cool thing about it is I always say I work for the fans. So I always take questions from you guys, ideas from you all, and I put that into my interviews with these players every week. And something very fun at the end of the interview is I do an activity like Office Olympics, just something really fun. And I don't always win, but that's not the point. Just so you guys can get the chance to see these players as people, not just as guys with helmets on running around on Sundays. It's really cool. So if I have your interest, please click subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know what you think. What's going on? Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. And hey, self-proclaimed, actually Cody over at CP. I forget the name of the podcast. Oh man, I'm saying it wrong, Cody. But gave me the nickname Man of the People. I love working for you all. I know it is a tough season right now. Things don't look good. They don't appear promising. But you know what? I'm here for you to answer any questions that I can that you have about players, for coaches. And hey, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy the one-on-one interviews that I get to do with players, which you haven't seen, I'll play for you in a little bit. I did Terrace Marshall recently. They're cool. I invite you all to be a part of those interviews and give me questions to answer to those. So the bigger I grow, the more I can continue to do to get you, Carolina Panther fans, questions answered that you have about this team. Hey, not a lot to be excited about this afternoon. So let me get some quick highlights. Not highlights, but some quick thoughts. We'll start with the bad first. Cam Newton is now 0-4 as a starter. Well, let me give you the score to the game, which I have not done yet so far. Final score in this game in a very cold Buffalo, New York. Buffalo 31, Carolina Panthers 14. Hey, somebody said they wish I was at the game. I wish I was there too. I mean, I do really like going to the games. We'll talk more about that lately, but we are an independent media supported by your contributions. So if you get in the mood for a super chat while you're watching, help us grow, help us continue to do things that you love us doing and we like doing for you. Super chats are appreciated. Hey, I see some comments coming, and let's go ahead and see what kind of comments are coming through right now. A lot of people just saying what's up, and then some people saying the team is trash, which I knew that would come. So I'm going to get to that. I'm going to first give you some highlights. I'm sorry, I keep saying highlights. I'm so used to saying highlights, but these aren't highlights. I'm just going to give you some information. Matt Rule has helped us secure our 4th losing season in a row. It's Carolina Panthers fall to 5-9. How are we doing so far with Matt Rule as a head coach? Well, we are currently 10 wins, 20 losses. So not doing that great. And more comments coming. Hey, by the way, keep your comments coming. I always have my spill of information that I want to share and get out there to you all, which I like to go over first. And then I backtrack and go over all the comments that you're leaving. So please continue to leave those comments. We're going to have a little conversation tonight and provide some answers and hopefully give you all some hope for the future. The good news with everything is we only have 3 more games remaining. We have Tampa back in Charlotte, we have the Saints in New Orleans, and then we have Tampa in Tampa. So it's not too far away before we start to do things to get us in a better position to get some wins next year with some off-season free agency, the draft, maybe people getting fired, moving around. You know, who knows exactly, but I'll definitely continue to report that all to you guys. I see these comments coming in. Everybody that's leaving those comments, please stick around. We will talk about it, okay? Please stick around. All right, so I like to just run through the press conferences that were had today after the game, and they were all, well, I'm not going to say what they all were. Let's just start with Coach Matt Rule. He talked about penalties being something that held back this team today. He felt like some personal foul penalties, particularly by the defensive line, led to 10 points by the Buffalo Bills. I'm just reporting what the man said. And what about the kicking? So I'm a little not happy about this one. So Brandon Zylstra was the guy who was our kickoff person today. Didn't do a bad job. Didn't do a bad job at all. Certainly didn't look like a professional kicker, because he's not. He's a wide receiver, but he did a pretty thorough job. I would say kicking the ball to about the 20 every time down the field. Why didn't our punter kick the ball? And this really does baffle me, because Coach Rule said that our punter was not comfortable kicking the ball down the field. Okay, do you think that Zylstra was comfortable? He's a wide receiver. And I know that these guys have specialties. Hey, I'm kicking the ball off the tee. Hey, I'm drop kicking the ball. Two different things. But if you've been kicking the ball all your life and you made it to the NFL, you've probably kicked the ball as a kickoff guy. If you're a punter, and if you're a punter, you're probably how could you not have kicked the ball the other way, just in terms of having been around kicking and stuff? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you kick. And I feel like I don't know, maybe he was afraid that he was going to tear something, because it's just not the norm. Anyway, that bothers me a lot, that our punter could not serve as a backup kickoff person for our team. Now, I'm not mad at him not being able to kick field goals, because that's different, especially because they get further back, maybe extra points. But anyway, that's my rant in terms of what happened today. Certainly hope that Zane Gonzalez gets better. And I did this in pregame. Let me see if I still have it up here now. Let me see if I can quickly get to this, because I'm a big fan of Zane Gonzalez. He did, I'll say this: if Zane Gonzalez can give me some pointers on kicking a field goal, then why could he have not given Lackland some pointers on kicking?
Gonzalez. Hey,
let me play this real quick.
This guy 1,000 followers. So first, watch the video, and then make sure you follow this guy. 1,000, all right?
Give me the follow, give me the shout out, need all the help I can get. I think I'm only about at 244 right now.
Thanks.
Yeah, so that was Zane Gonzalez and I. If you haven't checked out the interview I did with Zane Gonzalez, just go to YouTube, type Zane Gonzalez Charlotte Vibe. See a really good interview I did with Zane, really great guy. And at the end of that video, he and I go over some tips for kicking the ball. And we were particularly focusing on kickoffs. Anyway, I'm going to get back to some other things, but that bothered me, as you can see, about our punter not taking any kicks today at all and putting our wide receiver in a position to do that. What about the platooning of the quarterbacks? It was talked about P.J. Walker and Cam Newton being quarterbacks for us both today. We only saw Cam Newton, and I heard from Coach Rule again about thinking that they were going to get PJ in there and then not having a chance to get PJ in there. Don't know how I feel about that. Consider, like, if you want to get PJ in there, just put PJ in there. You're the coach. You have a plan. Put PJ in there. But he said that they had to do a little bit more running from the quarterback, and therefore left Cam Newton in there to do that much bigger body, much more capable of being a runner than P.J. Walker, even though P.J. Walker is still a capable runner. But I will say this, outside of that comment, I like the fact that he did not put P.J. Walker in late in the game to try to do anything. I said it pregame, I'll say it postgame, I'll say it every day until it's no longer something that we're considering. P.J. Walker, if he's going to play, please let him start or let him get in the game early. If you're not going to do either one of those things, then let him have a seat on the bench, which is what we did today. So I guess I'll take some happiness in the fact that we didn't throw P.J. Walker in there at the last minute. What about the pressure that Cam Newton was under? He had a lot of pressure. We're going to get into some particular stats later on. By the way, if you guys are leaving comments, please continue to leave those comments. Once I go through my facts that I want to share with you, I'll definitely dive into those comments. That we got a lot of pressure today from the Buffalo Bills, but it's a top defense, so you got to expect that. We got a lot of pressure on Josh Allen as well. The Bills had to expect that, and it hurt us. But to me, I feel like what happens with this team is that once we start making some progress, once we start to get, like, the closer we get to being in a scoring opportunity, the more we start to come apart and can't do anything. That's our biggest thing. I'm not saying like we're great before then, but we're not as bad as it seems, because you look at some stats from today's game, which I'm going to share, and it's just like, well, really, what happens once we get start moving. It's like we can't move all the way down. Anyway, last thing I'll point out from Coach Rule talking today to the members of the press after the loss to the Buffalo Bills was about that play in the first quarter. I thought it was first. I didn't think it was first quarter, but I know it was first half for sure, in which Robbie Anderson was throwing a ball that, if it was a good thrown ball, would have been intercepted definitely for a pick six. And you got this big old tall quarterback that you didn't let run the ball. He said that really the ball shouldn't have been thrown, is what Coach Rule said. The ball should not have been thrown. Should have went to something else. Should have been a handoff, but it was poor execution by our quarterback, Cam Newton. When Cam Newton was asked about that poor execution, he said he got to watch the tape to see what happens. But, you know, this is Cam Newton's press conference was extremely short. It was maybe 3 minutes. It was shorter than everybody else's who came up there. But if you have been following this Carolina Panthers team, you know that Cam Newton is not the happiest guy after a loss. He's a very competitive guy. He doesn't want to say anything that's just terrible. So that was his out, and not really addressing that question was that he had to watch the film. And so who's going to be our quarterback? Is it going to continue to be Cam Newton? Will it be P.J. Walker? Will it be Sam Darnold, because he is now eligible, designated to return from IR? Well, Coach Rule would not say. He doesn't like to talk about major statements after a game, especially after a loss, because he feels like it could be too emotional, not really thought about analytically. So he didn't want to say who his quarterback was going to be. I think that shows the amount of frustration that he is currently experiencing with this team. A lot of people talk about Matt Rule, fire Matt Rule, this, that, and the other. And he knows that he's on the hot seat. He knows that his job isn't secure beyond unreasonable belief that, hey, if he doesn't win any more games this season, that he'll be back. Now, I've said that I think he will be back. But, honestly, for me, as I go through each loss this late in the season, as I look at things like I shared with you earlier, he's 10-20. We are on now having our fourth consecutive losing game. You have Cam Newton, which has not won a game since he's been here. And I forget exactly how far it goes back to him not winning a game for the Carolina Panthers. And man, yeah, I do start to think more about let's just start over. Let's do something different. Let me get a drink of water here real quick. Let me check on the comments. You guys leaving some comments? Good, I see some comments coming, so keep them coming, I promise. I am probably just a couple more minutes away from sharing some information, and then we'll go over your comments. Brian Burns, a lot of people were on Brian Burns for his play where he did not successfully pick up the ball and score 6 points. So just fall on it. Now, I do think, excuse me, sorry, live video, you catch me burping. I apologize, excuse me for the burp. I haven't had a chance to watch the film, and I don't like to be like players, hey, just let me watch the film. But I felt like it wasn't a bad thing. He just missed it. He just missed picking up the ball as he went for it. Didn't seem like there was a lot of people around him. Everybody was behind him. It was just him, the ball, people around. So he mentioned that that's also a play that they practice every day, is picking up the ball and running with it. So let's not overreact in some situations. I'm not telling you to be happy. I'm not telling you to be happy. But just say, I wish that he had got the ball. Say, hey, you idiot, you should have fell on the ball. Because no, he did the right thing. He had the opportunity to pick it up and go for 6. Would have been a big momentum swing for us, and he missed it. I don't think you can expect Brian Burns to too many times miss picking up a scoop like that and going for 6 points. So, all right, let's go ahead and get to some of these comments that we have here. I'll just kind of mix it up between my remaining material that I want to talk about, which is some box score stuff, and you guys' comments. Hey, also got somebody liking the video from Facebook. So I appreciate you doing that. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter all at the same time. If you want the most interaction, I say go over to YouTube. But hey, I like to put the stream out there to all platforms and make it easy for everybody to consume. And if you have not hit the like button, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And it helps. It helps me to continue to do what I do for you guys. All right, so let's go through some comments here. Shake and Bake says, what's up? What's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Freak Show Gaming. What's going on? Appreciate you tuning in as well. Ali, always tuning in. Appreciate you so much. Appreciate you so much. Yes, it's tough, but we have to keep hope alive. Yeah, you do, man. I mean, nobody's going to win without you cheering. I won't say nobody's going to win without you cheering them on, but it's certainly helpful if you are cheering these people on and can get them to victory. Hey, but if I understand not everybody's able to do that. Some people are just really pissed off and unhappy. I'm certainly tired of losing. I certainly feel that sentiment. Such as Shaquille, Chris's team is trash. I got the score right, 31-14, 7 hours ago. I did see you tweet that. Thank you for signing the petition to fire Matt Rule. I did not sign that petition to fire Matt Rule. But I guess if you do want to sign a petition to fire Matt Rule, that Shaquille has a petition out there to fire Matt Rule. Allie, how do you feel about the play calling today? You know, hearing that play with Cam Newton should not have been passed. It should have been a run. I wasn't unhappy with the play calling today. I do have a question about why, and I had to go back and really look at the game, but I know it was 4th down, and I feel like we were near the 50. It wasn't a situation where we're going to kick a field goal, and we went for it, and we didn't make it. And I kind of wonder why I do that at that point. You know, let's go for field position. Let's try to pin them back, give them a long field, and maybe give our offense a chance to score without having such a long field. So play call, and I wasn't too disappointed in it. I was fine with the play calling today. It's, you know, you hear this from the players and coaches talking about execution. I feel like Cam Newton gives us a chance, the best chance to win of our quarterbacks, but he's currently not able to do enough. His passes are still very inconsistent. His passes are not good as we need with this team right now. That's how I feel about it. How are you going to say only super chat if Matt Rule gets fired? No, Charlotte Vibe needs your super chat so we can continue to operate. Those funds help fund the channel. We're independently supported, so don't say that, man. We need the super chats because we want to be able to continue to report. Like if Matt Rule gets fired and Charlotte Vibe is no longer here because we didn't have any funding, hey, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I'm going to read one more comment here, then I'm going to go to some information that I want to share with you guys. I thought Tepper was into analytics. The stats show that only 3 college coaches have won a Super Bowl. Those 3 coaches all won college national championships, though. Yeah. All right, let me go over some stats with you guys really quickly here. Let's start with our quarterback, Cam Newton, and how well or not well he did today, depending on how you want to look at it. Cam Newton, 18 of 39. He was definitely below 50% with his passing. 159 yards, not too many yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and he was sacked 4 times. Accuracy. He doesn't have the accuracy that I feel like we need to really be successful. But again, I feel like he is the best of our current options. Let's look at the receivers. How about this? Our best receiver was Amir Abdullah. 4 receptions, 48 yards, 4 targets. So, hey, there's a positive. Amir was 100% on targets and receptions. We also had DJ Moore with 48 yards, 11 targets. So that's what I hate to see. DJ Moore, let me put this back up here. 6 receptions on 11 targets. That's just not good enough. That's not good enough. And I know at one point I felt like, why are we continuing to have our receivers in situations where they're getting the ball and they're just getting whacked? Why is that? Is that the throws? Is it the routes? What are we doing where we have? Now, I'm not upset at these guys getting hit, but it seems like we're in positions where we're getting the ball and they're just getting whacked. I don't like that. Something's wrong there. It's a little wrinkle that we got to improve upon. And let's look at our rushing, this is absolutely where Cam Newton shined today. Absolutely positively where Cam Newton was shining. 15 carries, 71 yards, 1 TD. I think Cam, first player NFL history to have 5 rushing touchdowns in his first 5 games, or something to that effect, where his 5 touchdowns. And it's helpful. It's helpful. I think without Cam being able to run the ball, we're in a lot of trouble today. And that was crucial with Cam running the ball today. Let's hop on over to the defensive side. Hey, continue to leave those comments. Right? Just want to go over a few stats. Defensively, Jeremy Chin, 7 tackles, 1 pass deflection. Jermaine Carter. And what happened to Jermaine Carter? I never got a chance to get word. Maybe I'll find out tomorrow if I don't. Yeah, I'll look into it tomorrow, making sure what happened to Jermaine Carter. I know he came off for a second. Not sure if he went back in. But Jermaine Carter, 7 tackles. And then Yetur Gross-Matos with a pretty good game today. 5 tackles, 2.5 sacks. Definitely his career high. Tackle for loss and 3 quarterback hits. All right, let's get into some more comments here. Matt Rule threw Cam under the bus again. Let me ask you this. Everybody's watching. Do you think that Matt Rule should be frustrated? And if you do you think he's warranted to talk a little bit more up front about who's performing well and who's not performing well? I feel like that's what he's doing. Because, again, he knows his job. And I was saying it. And as we get through it, I feel less confident about him continuing. But Cam did make some mistakes today that were not helpful for the team to continue to get in good positions to win. Now, I don't expect him to be perfect, but if it's a 4th and 1 and you make the wrong read, to me that's major. That 4th down continues to give us an opportunity to get into scoring position. You don't do that now, you take that away completely. The interception he threw at the end of the game, it did kind of seem like, he checked out to throw such an interception. I mean, I had to watch it on TV like a lot of you guys. Didn't travel to the game today, and the announcer said, he gasped before the ball even got to the guy in the way, because it was just, you could see it from a mile away that was going to be an interception. So, yeah. Anthony Rochelle, very disappointed how this season is working out. I know you didn't finish your comment there, but I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to say. Hey, let's take a quick break. I do want to, I've asked you guys for subscriptions. Here's why. It allows me to do things like interview players such as Terrace Marshall. So let me play a quick snippet. If you have not had a chance to see this interview that I did with Terrace Marshall, any other people like Zane Gonzalez, Shi Smith, Jermaine Carter, on and on. Here's a little snippet, all right?
Man, my first game.
Yeah?
My first game.
As a freshman?
As a sophomore. I was
Okay.
15 years old. I didn't even start that game. It was a senior starting over me.
Yeah.
And, we was kind of rotating, but he was, getting more reps than me from the preseason and all that. But, I got in my first play, first touchdown.
What was the route?
It was go route. It was go route, first play. I got in there. I remember the play was, I think it was called void right. I think it was blast right pass.
Yeah.
I remember that play.
Okay,
Go route,
how far?
score. It was like 75 yards. Yeah.
Was it mostly run after the catch, or
Yeah,
pretty
it was run after the catch.
Okay.
I caught it after like 30 yards, and I just ran in, and then that game, I went for I was like 6 catches for like, was it like 197?
Okay.
2 touchdowns. So
do you by any chance have the quarterback hits pressure stats? I don't. That's not immediately available to us after the game, but let me make a note of that so I can come back and get that for you. So hold on 1 second. Just making a note so I can get that question answered. Eric is not happy about Matt Rule. Says he needs to go back to college. Please don't tell me something different. Shaki, the team is embarrassing, playing very bad, losing games. But Rule is happy with losing. How in the world does team 3-0? Can you go live with me? I'm not doing live today. Appreciate you asking, Anthony. But we do go live. Let's see, tomorrow I'm going to have Panther Nation podcast on the show. So really when I have guests like that, I can't invite you guys back on. But hey, I tell you what, if enough people are wanting to come back on live, because I go live for the whole purpose of being interactive, then be on the lookout for that, and I'll certainly have you on the show. Appreciate you asking. Also appreciate you tuning in and watching. We need a good O-line, not a great O-line, but just a good one would help, says Kevin McFarland. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you all honestly, this situation that we're in with the Carolina Panthers, it's so complex because there's so many pieces that could need to be changed, could need to be replaced, which makes it hard to just talk about things as a whole. We need an offensive line, but do we need an offensive coordinator? Do we need a new coach? What are we going to do with Christian McCaffrey? Is Dante Jackson going to come back? How does Stephon Gilmore do today? It's just so many things about this team. So that's why I say I'm just going to continue to report information as much as I can. And as things start to become clear, then I'll say what I feel should happen. But otherwise, I'm just going to say we need a lot. We need a lot. Even our defense is still, today was a pretty good game, but it's still like not good enough that it's not consistent enough throughout a game to give us the impact. So it's still just so many things. 1 step forward, 10 steps back. Yep. Rude Boy mentioned that we have not gone to the playoffs for 5 straight years. Yeah, it's been a long time, and I get it, man. So, I'm not a person to be really animated and screaming when I'm reporting. Can't. It's not professional. I am a professional. It was. If you had that time where I think we won 3 NFC South victories in a row, that was within the past 10 years. It was lots of fun, lots of good times, and yeah, we're missing that. We're missing that fire, that excitement, that hype around the team and being successful. It's long overdue that we get back into those winning ways where we have a playoff game, where we get to be ranked and maybe talked about the playoffs, but we haven't been, and you really don't know. It's so tough because also right now you like to say, okay, we were this bad, but I feel like these things are going to continue to grow and work out well for us. But you don't see that right now. You don't see where the silver lining is for the team to be successful. So it gets really hard. And as a journalist, it gets tough because now you're like, hey, what am I going to ask the coach about today? Hey, does it feel, why did you lose again? That's, which is totally not a professional question to ask and really doesn't get you anything in terms of getting answers. You have to creatively look for other things. So anyway, Michael Washington, appreciate you tuning in. Very cool picture, even though that's not you. Remember when that picture came up? It's like, man, and see, even Michael seeing this picture right here makes you think of the good times. When Luke Kuechly was on the team, you hear Luke, and you see him running around like a beast. And man, we just don't have that kind of thing going on anymore. Locks Bain saying that Cam's 0-12 in his last 12 starts. Is it really? Locks Main, Cam might not be in the league next year. I like that statement. Leave it in the comments right now. Do you think that Cam Newton will be in the league next year? Beyond liking Cam Newton, do you think that he will be in the league next year? I earlier said that Cam Newton right now gives us the best chance to win. I know Coach Rule didn't want to talk about Sam Darnold and being a better option in the past. I believe he is not. I didn't have a chance to compile all the stats before coming on here, but I really would like to think that the number of interceptions that Sam has thrown is bad since he's been, since that first 3-0 start that we had. And he's just, I don't like Sam as an option. I understand we might have to keep him for a little bit. Just, as trash, or I shouldn't say as trash, but as just damage for decisions that have been made. But if Cam, he wasn't picked up by anybody this year, got picked up late by the Carolina Panthers. He doesn't have anything good right now. He doesn't have a lot good right now to put on tape where somebody's going to be, I think, pulling, hey, we got to pick up Cam if he's a free agent at the end of the year. Because he's seeming more like he's a kind of specific use quarterback at this point, and being a good running option out of the quarterback position. His passing abilities, it just seems inconsistent. And I root for all these guys. I'm one of those softies. I'll tell you personally, I root for all these guys. Get a chance to see them much times in a different capacity than just on the field. Get to see them off the field and how they interact. And most of them are pretty decent people. So, but I don't disagree that Cam may not be in the league next year. Let me know your comments on that one. Rude Boy says, sign a proven coach, in my opinion. All right, Locks, man, you said this is a marathon, not a sprint. So, Locks, are you saying keep Coach Rule? Is that what you're saying? I'm curious. Let me know. And again, everybody watching, I do my show on Mondays, Ask Me Your Carolina Panthers questions. Tomorrow we'll have Rashad and Dave from Panther Nation podcast. So invite you to set your dials, get your life together so that you can join us tomorrow at 7 o'clock as we will have those guys on the show, and it should be a lot of fun. All right, got to read this one. Can't really blame Rule on this one, but I blame him for being in this position. I'd feel different if we still had Teddy and a rookie quarterback, but Rule got Sam, and it feels like we are paying for it. Hey, Taylor, why don't you blame Rule for this one today? There's a quarterback head coach wish for you guys. Rule should get fired. He will still be getting paid. Yeah, there's no doubt that regardless of what happens, Rule is set financially for the rest of his life. There's no doubt on that one. All right, my man. Folks need to stop comparing Rule to Jimmy Johnson. Rule does not hold a candle as a college player, and especially not as a collegiate coach. And there is no need to state the obvious. Okay. Strong comment there. Don't compare the man. So y'all want Rule fired. Can't keep firing coaches. Yeah, coaches get, I mean, you fire Rule and it's a lot to deal with. It's basically, you do basically start over because everybody in place now is new from Rule. And then what happens when you start over? What kind of success do you have? And you really hope that Rule can get it together. And yes, again, it's so much to talk about. So much to fix. Every year we start out hot and end up on a massive nosedive. It's just sad, says Mr. Superman. You guys. The throws, Chris. I'm assuming you're talking about Cam Newton's throws aren't that good. My man with the jokes. Is it true that Lauren isn't on the show now because she's prepping for the Panthers head coaching job interview tomorrow morning? That's not true. It's not true. Fake news. Carter went back to the game. It was concussion protocol. Concern from league office more than likely. Okay, appreciate it. Yeah, I wasn't able to keep track of all that stuff. Unfortunately, some things I have to go back to and make sure of. This is a comment to me talking about Matt Rule being frustrated, and this comment says he should be frustrated because he's the reason for the problems that pre-existed Cam. Sad when you have a quarterback as your leading rusher. I'm pissed, Chris. We need to start over. Let Scott pick his guy, and we go from there. Yeah, our quarterback shouldn't be. I can't say he shouldn't be. I mean, it's where we are, and that part of the game plan, for me, I actually feel is good that we went to lean on Cam Newton as a runner. And it's what I've been saying that we should do with Cam coming back anyway. Let's not think that we're going to throw the ball vertically down the field and become this big threat. I don't feel like that's been Cam Newton's strong point, and certainly after the injuries and things that he's had. It doesn't seem like he's that kind of quarterback that, we should be looking at is going to have 300-plus type passing yards. But I just wanted to see Cam have some pretty good short and mid-range passes, and I don't see it. I don't see it happening consistently enough. I mean, we need consistency, period, to win a game. It's not one quarter. It's not winning one drive. You got to win 4 quarters. You got to win 60 minutes. And that's a shortcoming that we have. How many times have you seen Cam Newton have a tipped ball? He has so many tipped balls, and you don't see that from when do you see Kyler Murray getting tipped balls? He's tiny. It happens, but it doesn't happen as much as you see the tip balls coming from Cam. And you gotta be if Patrick Mahomes knows that he has to throw the ball side-armed, or he has to jump and throw a ball because you got these tall people that are playing. He's only been in the league, I don't know, half the time that Cam Newton's been in the league. Cam Newton's been in the league for 10 seasons. He should know better. He should not be having tip balls. He should definitely have feel sense about what's going on around him, that knows that he needs to do something different. And we're not getting that. So do I feel like Cam needs to be here next year? No, I don't feel like Cam Newton needs to be here next year. But if things play out, because I keep saying there's so many things that are broken, I'm not against if we're not able to do anything better at the quarterback position, and then we keep Cam here just because that's the best of what we have. I don't feel like throw Cam out and get something that's a wild goose chase. So, but that's all where it gets complicated with what all should happen with this team. And even blowing things up. Ugh. The game today, the players didn't give up. The game wasn't an atrocious game. It wasn't just a sloppy game. You still had things happen. That's unfortunate. You still had Zane Gonzalez get hurt in pre-game, which made things look comical. But that's what any team goes to do when your kicker gets hurt. I forget who it was a couple weeks ago where their kicker got hurt, and was it the Steelers? Baltimore? I forget exactly what game it was, but they had to go for 2 the whole game. It's just a circumstance and risk that coaches take. They don't want to have 2 kickers and not have enough offensive linemen or defensive linemen or other much more skilled positions that they need, and they take that risk on the kicker. Michael says he loved Cam too, but he's not the same. Lockman says get Miles Hartfield. Why do you think the locker room speech is like? What do you think the locker room speech is like at this point? Just frustrating. You know, it's frustrating. It's just, I'm sure it's just frustrating. Somebody thinks that Cam will be in the league, most likely as a backup. Yeah, he's a backup. I wouldn't feel bad about Cam being a backup, but I don't. And like I said, it gets like this infinite loop. We have so many problems. There's an infinite loop. Christian McCaffrey, what are we gonna do with him? Infinite loop. So many things. Gilmore ain't gonna even want to come back. Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, Taylor, because these guys want to win. You heard Robbie Anderson, maybe you didn't, but Robbie Anderson talked about the fact that I believe he said this is his 6th year in the league. And his goal is to win a Super Bowl. He wants to win a Super Bowl. He feels like he should win a Super Bowl. Now, Robbie's under contract here next year, but you have the other players like Hassan Reddick, Gilmore, Dante Jackson. How much do you want to be here next year when your team is losing like they're losing? And you have not won in a very long time. You might just want to go someplace else. Not that this, you may, let me drink my water again. Hold on. Priscilla, you're going to blame Matt Rule? That's fine. You can blame Matt Rule. We cannot be out here turning the ball over. Now, we did turn the ball over today, but so did Buffalo. But it would certainly be helpful if we weren't turning the ball over, if we weren't dropping. There was a botch snap. No, I'm sorry, not botch snap, but a botch handoff between Cam and Chuba. Fortunately, we were able to fall on that and get that ball back. We just need some mojo. We really do, because you got to think about this. Everybody on this team was part of that victory out in Arizona where things just were so great. And we were like, yes, yes, things are going to be different. And they haven't been. I'm willing to go through the growing pains with a more qualified coach. Benamy would have come in the office with fresh Super Bowl ice. Cam 6'5", balls batted at the line all the time. Yeah, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not consistent. I sure enough hope this isn't true. We're on the verge of being the new Browns. What would be the reason that a good coach would want to come to this team, or for that fact, players want to come back? Now, a good coach coming to this team, I think that's totally different from a player. Because a coach, you get to control everything. You get to set the tone. You get to build a culture. You have a lot of control to get things turned around if you're a coach. And David Tepper has a lot of zeros that he could put behind a check. So a good coach coming to this team, I don't think that's a problem at all. Now, players coming back, I do think you get into the area of players wanting to come back to this team. Now, Tepper does have some things to sell to people, right? In terms of players, We got that new facility that's being built down in South Carolina that is incredible. You got an owner that does want to win. So, and he is doing a lot of things different. Unfortunately, his current selections of coaching is not getting the job done. So, but I say don't discount David Tepper on ability to sell people stuff. He has lots of resources to paint a pretty good picture on what's going to happen. Tip balls mean your O-line is being overpowered. It could mean, but you got the vision. You know what's happening. You know if all the pressure's coming from here. You know if all the pressure's coming from there. You know if this guy against your tackle is 6'6", or if he's 6 foot with shorter. Like, you know all that. And so it shouldn't matter what the O-line is doing, that him being at that height and him having 10 years worth of experience at the quarterback position should be throwing batted balls this often as he is. All right. Question: if Cam is here next year, then put on your GM hat and decide what do we do with Cam, Sam, and PJ. All right, so I'll entertain that. If I'm the GM and I'm saying Cam is here next year, I'm not going to say why. That's just a circumstance that you're giving me and want to know what I would do. If you give me if you give me Cam here next year, PJ Walker's gone. I don't feel a need to continue to keep PJ Walker anymore. He's shown me that even as a backup, you want him to just be able to come in and just maybe keep the ship going forward. Don't have to do much, but just steer the ship. I don't feel like PJ Walker has that in him, so I don't bring PJ Walker back. And do I keep Sam Darnold? Now, I'm not a big old cap guy. I'm going to get more educated on that, and I'm going to do some special videos educating you guys. So just look forward to that. I'm certainly going to do more videos coming up where I educate y'all on, what the draft situation looks like, how caps work, how guaranteed money works, and all those things. So that's coming forward, not currently at that level yet. But from what I've heard, Sam would stay here because we're on the hook with Sam for I think about $20 million, quite a bit of money. And I don't know, with Sam having been at the Jets and failing, Sam having been at Carolina and failing, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater still had more going for him than Sam does, in my opinion. And so I don't see how we could trade him anywhere. And you keep him as a backup. You keep him as a very expensive backup, because if you let him go, you're still on the hook for the money. So hopefully you enjoyed me playing GM with that given situation. All right. So I kind of said what you were thinking. All right. Panthers need to bring Cam back as a backup. Yeah, I'll just read your comment. Line is the worst you've seen play, definitely in the left side. All right, so I'm going to get ready to wrap up here. I'm just going to cruise through a few more comments. Didn't realize I've been on for nearly, we're approaching the hour mark. Got to save some energy for the show tomorrow. The culture of this team gives me really bad vibes. I'm worried we're going to be like the Jags or the Jets for years to come. So that's a valid concern. And as we lose more, there's different stats that people find that come out there, such as how much we're losing in December and how we used to win in December. How Cam hasn't won a game in forever. How, you'll see different reports on Pro Football Focus on how some of our linemen are doing terrible in a game. And even funny is, I won't need to say even funny, but even the whole, we're paying the Cam's back up to back up Cam, and Cam back to back on, his kind of thing. Like all these quarterbacks that we're paying, and we're in a situation where we're not winning. It just starts to seem really messy. So, yeah. Hopefully we will not be like those scenarios. Actually, I know we won't be. I know we will not be. I feel like if it does get blown up, that it will definitely be different going forward. Why isn't Tepper addressing the fans? Does he not get the weight? Hey, Tepper is, owners typically aren't really talking a lot. I know you got Jerry Jones, that's an exception. You had the owner down in Jacksonville having to talk when things just got atrociously bad. But owners typically, you don't expect owners to speak a lot until the end of the season. I don't want to say nothing about Cam because, I gotta be a professional, Dell. I have to be. So I feel like I have said a lot of not the best news things about Cam in a professional way. I definitely appreciate Cam calling me a good guy, but I mean, he can still call me a good guy in the fact that I'll say things, but I don't twist words. I don't try to put anybody on the bus or set them up or anything pretty negative that a player would hate you for as a media person. So that's going to be it. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, tomorrow, pretty big show. I'm going to cue it up right now. So set your reminders to tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time, where I will have Panther Nation podcast on. That'll be Rashad and Dave, as well as myself. Lauren will not be here, so let me just tell you guys now so that you can get that into your minds that she will be out. But she will be back as we take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this Sunday at Bank of America Stadium. All right. Thanks so much for watching. As always, you guys make me happy because I get to do what I love, and I hope you enjoy the content that I bring to you. Appreciate you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.